Back here on Titans Talk, phone line's still open. 737-7767 is the number. We go back to the phones now. And LD, good evening. You're next up here on Titans Talk.
Good evening, Mr. Lehman. How's everything at Titans Talk?
Going well. Glad to be back in Nashville after a cold weekend in Chicago.
Oh, you in Chicago, man. It was a good look, though. It was a good look.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Good win, too.
We're talking about the secondary, man. Here's my thing, man. Since OTAs, man, I saw a little bit of what they call swag in those secondaries. This is in OTA time. And the only difference is as you watch these guys in the secondary, primarily play in the season, man, you just don't really see the swag. You kind of just see them float, you kind of see them report, and you kind of see them back off a lot of times. The swag is in there. I think what's going on in our secondary is that they're playing a lot of tough teams, and you can't loosen your legs and get the energy to flow like that in a season when you're facing tough teams. Especially like I think our earlier games, game 1 and 2, they were just not really just sacrificing a lot of things in the secondary as far as trying to go after interceptions. I spoke with the other guy about McCourty and the interception that he has not received this year, and yet still he had an opportunity last game and he was right there, but he's not in jump position. He's not firing at the ball to jump and take a pick six, or he's not firing at the ball to intercept 4 and 5 picks. He's just kind of reporting, and it looks kind of suspicious. So, after a while, you will say that secondary is going to suffer in a playoff game or in a division game, or when it gets tough, they're going to really suffer because they haven't been able to breathe, swag, and flow in that secondary. But I've been seeing great work out of Byard and out of the other guy, Cox, I believe. He's had a couple of picks this year. But our secondary, man, second nature, probably a C- if you was looking on the paperwork. You could give it a B if they could pick up 6 picks before the end of the year and compromise a couple of games, just jumping on the ball, saying, hey, we're just going to go after it, man. We can't let these guys get us on our heels. But OTAs, they had swag. So that's how I feel about the secondary, man. And I wish that we did have a lot of more interceptions, man. I wish we did have the Titans of old intercepting the ball and closing out games as they could. But it's turning around. They're just not breathing well, Steve.
Yeah, LD, I think that's a good call. Here's the thing that stands out to me the most is you talk about breaking on the ball or creating interceptions. I honestly can't remember the last time I saw a Titans cornerback jump in front of a route and make a play. They've come up with a few interceptions, but, the two I think of that McCourty has this year, he basically wrestled away from the wide receiver. Parrish Cox has had a couple thrown to him, essentially. But I can't remember the last time a cornerback just sort of jumped, like, say, an out route and jumped in front of the ball. I think a big part of that is talent. Maybe some of it is the position they're in. And frankly, when you don't have much talent, maybe you can't afford to play as aggressively in terms of the defensive call, which doesn't put them in the position to do that. I think it's a combination of all of it. And it's interesting you point out the swag that they had back in OTAs or in training camp. I think we saw some of that there. I think we saw them make some plays. The biggest thing to me that stands out actually is a positive, is I think there was somewhat of a stalemate between the Titans defensive backs and the Titans receivers in training camp. And that wasn't a good thing because I don't think anybody was excelling and playing really good football. I think it was just two very average units going after each other. And I think what we've seen is while the secondary still remains to be very average and struggling to come up and make big plays, I think that receiving core has gotten much, much better. Marcus Mariota is throwing these guys open. They're running the correct routes. And when they're open and running the right route, they're making plays. Tajay Sharp hit a bit of a rookie wall, but he's now making catches. Rashard Matthews has been fantastic. I mean, he looks like a number 1 receiver over the last 2 months. That catch yesterday was outstanding. It was a wonderful throw, but you got to make the catch too. And Matthews went and did it. He's been terrific. Kendall Wright has had flashes. Harry Douglas has come essentially off the sidelines to make big catches for this team. They are finding ways to make plays at the receiving core, and that is huge. And again, I go back to you think there was some swag. I think it was 2 average units. One of them, the receiving core, has elevated its play and taken it to another level. The other one, the defensive back core, has not taken it to a new level. And they are the weakness of this football team right now. The biggest weaknesses, I would say, are special teams for the Titans and secondary play, especially at cornerback. Hopefully that doesn't hurt them moving forward into December as they try to make a run at this division title. We got to take a break. We will come back. We will get to some of the highlights from yesterday, some of the analysis as well. So stay tuned. More Titans talk on the way right here on News Channel 5+.